Welcome back. It's time now for Media Watch with James Creedon. Hello, James.
Evening.
Now we're going to take a look at how hard it's been for French media to cover this complicated economic story, and this during holiday season.
Absolutely. It hasn't been easy for any of us really to wrap our heads around this one. It keeps unraveling, really. So let's have a look at France 2. That's the main state broadcaster here in France, and how their 1 p.m. news show covered this afternoon. France, of course, everyone on holidays in the month of August. People sort of generally shutting all systems down. So they had lots of different. They were speaking to all of their correspondents, of course, and the soundbite. You couldn't go without soundbites of members of the public who on holidays really didn't know what they were talking about. It seems there was one lady, and I think we'll go to her next, and she said that she wanted to go to the bank to see what was happening. So she went down to her local bank to ask what's going on, and the journalist said, she said that I don't really know. The journalist asked her what to do and what she was going to do, and she said, I don't know. In the end, she said maybe she'll just spend all of her money, take it out and spend it. So she seems to be a little bit confused by the whole situation.
It's one way of dealing with it.
And then basically you've got a guy also at the Stock Exchange in Paris. He was a journalist giving a live interview in front of the Stock Exchange. That's her here, actually. This is the lady. I think we just got her now. So she's the lady going to the bank to find out what's happening. And I think the next pictures is a journalist in front of the Stock Exchange in Paris, the famous Bourse, except it's not a stock exchange anymore. So basically it looks like newsrooms in the middle of somewhere. We're trying to find out how to cover the story, sending people out to interview people who didn't know what they were talking about, and sending people to redundant shut down stock exchanges. It was all
we would never do that, would we?
All a little bit silly. No, we're serious here. We don't do it that way.
And maybe journalists have been looking into the major questions arising from this, haven't they?
That's right. Now, Libération, a major left-leaning paper here, they point out that France is considered to be the weakest of the AAA-rated countries. Now, of course, all of this started on Friday when the US, what was seen as the most solid, reliable economy in the world, lost its AAA rating. France still has it, but Libération says really not in a very strong position. And the figures are going to come out at the end of this week on Friday for the second quarter economic performance, and everyone's waiting with bated breath for that. And if we turn to the computer for a moment here, you can see a website that is looking at France's public debt, and they're clocking it up by the second. You can see it's continuing to climb over the 1 trillion mark, and the second box there just below is the debt per citizen. So even little toddlers running around the place apparently have a €25,000 debt in terms of what they, as a French citizen, their part in that.
That's not good starting in life, is it?
Certainly not. Certainly not. If we have a look at François, they're a little bit less. They're taking Standard & Poor's reaction to France's situation. Standard & Poor's being the credit rating agency that downgraded the US. They have a positive opinion about France's situation. They say that France has good budgetary policy, and that the retirement reform that happened last year is good news as well. Now, just one tweet that's worth looking at as well. This is the Financial Times investments editor. The Financial Times, one of the most important financial newspapers, still find it funny that Standard & Poor's thinks France in the euro is more creditworthy than the US with its own currency. Beth Sarko is laughing too. And that, of course, is because, I suppose, the US has some degree of control over its own currency. It has its own central bank. It can print money. France, as part of the euro, as a nation, can't really do much about that without consultation with its European partners. So yeah, lots of complicated elements to all of this.
And credit ratings are in the line of fire as well, aren't they?
That's right. Now, Standard & Poor's is the agency that downgraded the US economy.
Can you downgrade a credit agency?
Well, one would hope so. I think a lot of people are kind of saying, who do these people think they are? The level of power that they have over the global economy. Now, in Le Point, well-known French economist Alain Minc says that Standard & Poor's are like attention-seeking children. The loss of the AAA rating in the US doesn't really have any. It's of no major consequence. The US is still the ultimate economic safe haven. Now, if we have a look at Forbes online, their blog here, Daniel Fisher is one of their bloggers. Now, he is saying that he's almost sympathetic towards credit rating analysts. They say, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. If they hesitate, a credit could go bad before they call for a downgrade. And then if they go too fast, they could cause the very death spiral, as he puts it, that they're trying to warn investors against. Now, Slate has looked into abolishing credit rating agencies. A lot of people are talking about doing that. Just get rid of them. Well, it looks like there's such an intrinsic part of the economic system now that it's almost almost impossible. For instance, the US authorities asked the banking sector to look into alternatives about a year ago, and they said, look, hands off our ratings. This is such an integral part of the system. Now, just very quickly, I suppose there have been many economists who were predicting that things were going to go this badly.
They're going to be smug now, aren't they?
Right. One guy, Nouriel Roubini, he predicted this a long time ago, and he basically said that there are no more rabbits to be pulled out of hats. For the last number of years, credit easing, fiscal stimulus, ring fencing, liquidity provision, it all kind of, trillions of dollars being bailing out banks and financial institutions. It's all been tried, and according to him now, this is really not good news. What's happened in the US? We have run out of rabbits to reveal, according to Nouriel Roubini.
James Creedon, thank you very much for your Media Watch. And it's time now for Web News. The France 24 Internet Desk brings you the best of the online buzz. Let's take a look.